I have a prayer so powerful that when you say it before sleep, money begins moving towards you before morning. You've begged, you've worked, you've tried, but tonight you will rest, and your word will do the work for you. Say this prayer with me, and watch how quickly unexpected money arrives. In this message, I will give you the exact prayer that awakens wealth while you sleep. You'll learn why night is the most powerful hour for your subconscious, why most people waste that hour in fear, and how you can replace fear with truth and watch money appear in surprising ways. This is not theory, I have proved it, and I will show you how to prove it too. By the end, you will not just know the prayer, you will believe it, and you will feel the shift as you speak it. You may have worked long days, and still money slips through your fingers. You may have prayed vague prayers, and still nothing seemed to change. You may even think wealth belongs to others but not to you. But I tell you, that is the great deception. The truth is this: your word is your wand, and what you speak before sleep writes the script of your tomorrow. If you fall asleep repeating fear, you will wake up to more fear. But if you fall asleep with the right prayer on your tongue, you will wake up to money, to ease, to supply. This is not superstition, it is law, and tonight, you will prove it. In this video, I will give you one prayer to say before sleep. Not 10, not 20. One prayer. Simple, clear, and unstoppable. I will guide you through why it works, how it works, and the exact way to say it, so it sinks into your subconscious and begins moving money in your direction overnight. I will tell you stories of those who said it once and saw unexpected money by morning. I will show you how the law of substitution erases fear and replaces it with faith as you rest. And I will leave you with the master affirmation so strong that it cannot fail. Stay with me until the end, for if you dare to speak this prayer tonight, you may wake to a very different tomorrow. Sleep will no longer be wasted, it will be the hour when riches begin their journey to you. Here's something most people completely miss. Your subconscious never closes its eyes. It does not switch off at night. It does not rest the way your body rests. It does not stop listening because you've turned out the light. No, the subconscious keeps recording, keeps absorbing, keeps shaping your tomorrow while you dream. That's why the last words you speak before you sleep are not small. They are the seeds of your future, and the soil of your subconscious, open and unguarded in the night, will take those words and grow them into form. Think about it. When you drift into sleep, your conscious mind grows quiet. The critic, the doubter, the planner, the worrier, all of them slow down and finally dissolve. And what remains? The pure, impressionable, subconscious, like soft earth waiting for a seed. Whatever you drop into it will grow. If you drop fear, you'll wake up to more of what you fear. If you drop complaint, you'll wake up to more lack. But if you drop truth, if you drop gratitude, if you drop faith in supply, you'll wake up to doors opening, to calls coming, to money moving toward you in ways you never saw coming. I've seen this law in action countless times. A woman came to me once and said, "I don't understand why every day I face the same problems with money." I asked her, "What words do you speak before bed?" She laughed and admitted, "I usually go over my bills and whisper to myself, 'I'll never get ahead.'" And of course, her subconscious faithful servant that it is, he kept replaying that record all night long. She was literally programming herself for lack in her sleep. I told her to change it. I gave her a simple sentence. God is my unfailing supply. I rest rich and I rise richer. She began saying it every night. At first, she felt silly. But then things began to move. Within weeks, unexpected money arrived. Debts were cleared. A new opportunity came. She hadn't worked harder. She hadn't done anything new. She had simply given her subconscious a new instruction at the doorway of sleep, and the law did the rest. So I ask you, what are you whispering to yourself before you drift off? Are you sowing weeds or wheat? Are you filling the night with words of fear or with words of faith? Because the subconscious is always listening. It is like a phonograph, recording every sound you allow, and then replaying it into your tomorrow. Tonight, we change the record. Tonight, we sow a different seed. Say this with me now, even as your body begins to soften and your breath slows. My subconscious is rich. My mind is fertile ground. I plant words of wealth tonight, and I will wake to harvest tomorrow. Again, my subconscious is rich. My mind is fertile ground. I plant words of wealth tonight, and I will wake to harvest tomorrow. Now the Rebelde. This is how you begin. Not by more effort, but by more awareness. Not by more hours in the day, but by mastering the hour of the night. For the subconscious never sleeps. It will work whether you give it weeds or flowers. And from tonight on, you'll choose the flowers. You'll plant wealth, you'll declare supply. You'll let the law carry those words through the night until they appear in your morning. What I'm about to tell you may sound simple, but it explains why so many struggle year after year and never seem to break free from lack. It is because fear always tries to speak the last word at night. You may begin the day in hope, you may even speak faith in the morning, but when the darkness falls and silence surrounds you, fear comes creeping in like a thief, whispering its lies into the quiet corridors of your mind. It says, "What if the money doesn't come? What if tomorrow brings another bill you cannot pay? What if you lose what little you have?" And if you allow those words to linger, if you let those phrases be the last imprint upon your subconscious before you sleep, then you have sown fear as your final seed. And fear, being inverted faith, will bloom into the very thing you dread. For the law of the subconscious is impartial. It multiplies whatever it is given, whether faith or fear, truth or lie, blessing or curse. Do you see why this is so dangerous? The night is the most powerful hour because the subconscious is wide open, undefended, hungry to receive instruction. If fear's voice is the last one it hears, then fear becomes the program, fear becomes the order, fear becomes the decree that the subconscious carries out. And so you wake to more lack, more bills, more pressure, and you wonder why. It is because fear spoke the final word. But I tell you this, you are not required to give fear that power. You can strip it of its crown, you can silence it with truth, you can replace it with faith. And when faith is the final word, faith writes tomorrow in gold. Let me give you a story. A woman came to me trembling, afraid she would lose everything. Every night, as she tried to sleep, she repeated to herself, "I can't afford this. I'm going to fail. I'll end up in the poorhouse." And as surely as she repeated it, her world collapsed around her. She was rehearsing her ruin, and the law gave her exactly what she rehearsed. I told her, "Stop giving fear the last word. Speak truth instead. Say before sleep, 'God is my supply. I am safe. I am rich now.'" At first she resisted. The fear seemed louder, heavier, more convincing. But she persisted. Night after night, she spoke the prayer of faith. And slowly, her days began to shift. Money arrived in unexpected channels. Opportunities reopened. Peace replaced the trembling. Why? Because she stopped letting fear close her night and began letting faith open her morning. So tonight, I say to you, do not let fear speak the last word. Do not let worry write your script. Do not let lack echo through your mind as you drift off. Instead, choose your final word. Choose wealth. Choose faith. Choose truth. And speak it boldly, even if fear tries to shout. For the last voice your subconscious hears is the one it obeys. Say this with me now, with a firmness that leaves no room for doubt. Fear has no final word in my life. Faith speaks last. God is my supply. I rest in riches. I rise in riches. Again, slower this time. Faith speaks last. God is my supply. I rest in riches. I rise in riches. And once more, like a seal pressed into wax, I rest in riches. I rise in riches. Let these be the words your subconscious carries tonight. Let them drown out the whispers of fear. Let them be the final vibration you release before sleep takes you. For what speaks last rules tomorrow and tonight? Faith speaks last. Here is something most people never grasp, and yet it is the very heart of this message. Rest is not idleness, rest is creation. The world has trained you to think that only action counts, that only work produces, that only effort provides. But the spiritual law declares otherwise. In the unseen realm, rest is as powerful as action, silence is as potent as speech, stillness is as commanding as movement. Why? Because when you rest in faith, you release the word into the fertile ground of the subconscious, and there it multiplies without obstruction. You do not need to watch it. You do not need to push it. You do not need to monitor its progress. You simply let it work. Just as the farmer sows his seed and sleeps, knowing the soil will do what it was made to do, so must you sow your prayer before sleep and trust that the law will bring it forth. That is why I say to you, when you lie down at night, you are not escaping life, you are creating it. Sleep is not retreat, it is rehearsal. The words you speak before your eyelids close become the script your subconscious rehearses all night long. And when you wake, the stage is already set according to that rehearsal. If you rehearse fear, lack, and failure, then your tomorrow must echo those notes. But if you rehearse faith, wealth, and thanksgiving, then your tomorrow must deliver that performance. For the subconscious is not a judge, it is a servant. It takes whatever it is fed, and it multiplies it faithfully. There was once a man who lived in constant worry. Each night before bed he would mutter, "I'll never get ahead, it's hopeless." He thought these were harmless complaints, but the subconscious is never careless. It took those words, repeated night after night, and built his world upon them. He woke each morning to the same lack, the same closed doors, the same weary struggle. But then he learned the law. He learned to rest in creation instead of collapse in fear. He began to speak this simple prayer before sleep. As I rest, my riches rise. As I sleep, my supply multiplies. As I close my eyes, my world opens to abundance. At first, nothing seemed to shift. But he persisted, and soon, opportunities began to appear without effort. Letters of payment arrived. Friends brought him gifts. A new channel of income opened in ways he had never imagined. What had changed? Not his labor, not his hours, not his effort. His rest had changed, his prayer had changed. His subconscious had been given a new script, and it faithfully played it out in the theater of his life. So now, I give you the same key. Tonight, do not close your eyes with dread. Do not let the day end in complaint. End it in creation. End it in faith. End it with a prayer so simple, yet so certain, that your subconscious cannot resist it. Say with me now, as I rest, my riches rise. Again, as I rest, my riches rise. Let it be the song of your breathing. As I rest, my riches rise. And as you drift, let your body remember this truth. Your richest hours are not those spent in toil, but those spent in trust. Your greatest work is not done in struggle, but in surrender. Your supply does not come by racing hands, but by restful faith. Tonight, let your rest be your creation, let your sleep be your seed, and let your tomorrow be the harvest. Here's something most people overlook, and because they overlook it, they wander through life powerless, tossed about by appearances, waiting for luck, praying without conviction, and wondering why nothing ever changes. They do not understand that their word is their wand. Every word you speak is a command. Every phrase you release is a decree. Every sentence you allow to pass your lips is shaping the unseen substance of your life. Words are not idle sounds. Words are forces. They are vibrations. They carry weight, they carve grooves into the subconscious, and they call forth conditions to match themselves. That is why the scripture declares, "Death and life are in the power of the tongue." It is not a figure of speech, it is literal. Your tongue is the instrument of creation. Your word is the wand that directs the invisible into visible form. I have seen this law proved so often that I no longer question it. A woman once came to me with only $8 in her purse. By every appearance, she was destitute, pressed down, finished. But she dared to believe the truth of the word. She lifted her voice and declared, "God is my unfailing supply. Large sums of money come to me quickly, under grace, in perfect ways." She repeated it, not in begging, not in fear, but in certainty, as though she were giving orders to the universe. Within days, money began to flow toward her from channels she had never considered. Gifts arrived, a debt was forgiven, an unexpected payment came. She did not earn it, she did not chase it. She did not strain for it, she spoke it, she commanded it, and the law obeyed. Her word had become her wand, and with it, she shaped her demonstration. But I have also seen the opposite. I have seen those who speak carelessly, who throw words into the air as though they were empty, and then wonder why their lives are heavy with lack. A man once joked every evening, "I'll probably end up broke." He thought he was being clever, but the subconscious has no sense of humor. It records literally. It does not edit or interpret. It does not laugh with you. It takes the word at face value and sets about to make it true. And sure enough, within a short time, the man's business faltered, his funds slipped away, and his careless jest became his reality. He had wielded his wand without awareness, and it struck him down instead of lifting him up. So I tell you now, be deliberate. Do not speak of poverty, do not rehearse lack, do not affirm what you do not want. For every word is a seed, and every seed must bear fruit. Speak only what you desire. Speak wealth, speak health, speak joy, speak abundance, and watch as those words, like obedient servants, gather substance around themselves until they become your lived experience. Let's do it now together. Say this with me not weakly, but as one who knows their authority. My word is my wand. I speak wealth, and wealth appears. Again, slowly. My word is my wand. I speak wealth, and wealth appears. Once more, with certainty. My word is my wand. I speak wealth, and wealth appears. Let that rhythm settle in you. Feel the power of it, for you are not waiting on money to find you, you are commanding it by the word you speak. And as you drift into sleep tonight, remember this. Your mouth is not small. Your words are not idle. You are wielding the most powerful instrument in the universe. And when you use it with faith, with gratitude, with clarity, the invisible world bends to your decree. Your word is your wand, and tonight you will use it to write wealth into your tomorrow. What I am about to reveal may seem small, but it is the dividing line between those who dream of wealth and those who actually demonstrate it. It is the difference between silent wishing and spoken command. It is the reason why some whisper their desires in thought and never see results, while others lift their voice and call riches forth as though they were already in hand. And the truth is this: words must be spoken aloud. The subconscious is moved most deeply, not by thought alone, but by sound. Thought is vapor, but spoken word is vibration. Sound carries weight. It travels through the air, it stirs the body, it strikes the ear, it etches itself into the hidden mind with force. A word thought may pass like a shadow, but a word spoken rings like a bell in the empty halls of the subconscious, and the echo cannot be ignored. This is why I teach my students to say their affirmations aloud, not merely to think them. Your thoughts come and go 100 at a time, and the subconscious cannot always tell which ones to seize upon. But when you speak, you mark that thought with authority. You give it volume. You breathe life into it. You stamp it with vibration. The sound of your own voice is like a trumpet, announcing to the subconscious, this is the command, this is the decree, this is the seed to be planted. And once the seed is heard, the subconscious, obedient and tireless, sets to work to bring it forth. Think of it like this. A thought is like writing a sentence in the sand. The waves may wash it away before it can be read, but a spoken word is like carving it into stone. It stays, it resonates, it endures. That is why careless words spoken aloud are so dangerous, they have force. But the same is true of words spoken with faith, they have power. And power spoken aloud multiplies as it moves. I recall a woman who used to only think her prayers. She would lie silently in bed, repeating affirmations in her mind, but with little change in her affairs. When she came to me, I told her, don't just think it, speak it. Let the walls hear it. Let your own ears hear it. Let your body vibrate with the sound of it. She obeyed. She began to speak aloud before sleep. God is my unfailing supply. Large sums of money come to me quickly and easily, under grace, in perfect ways. At first, she felt strange, almost embarrassed, alone in her room speaking aloud. But within days, she felt stronger. Within weeks, money began to appear through unexpected doors. What had changed? Not her desire, not her need, but her method. She stopped whispering to herself in silence and began declaring her truth aloud. And the law responded. So I say to you tonight, do not just think your prayers, speak it. Do not just hope your supply, declare it. Do not let the last word of the night be a passing thought easily erased. Make it a vibration, a sound, a rhythm that enters the body and the soul, for sound is creation. The universe itself was spoken into being, and God said, let there be light. Not God thought, but God said. And the saying made it so. Now, let us do this together. Lift your voice even softly, but audibly. Say with me, large sums of money come to me quickly, easily, and endlessly, under grace, in perfect ways. Again, let it ring. Large sums of money come to me quickly, easily, and endlessly, under grace, in perfect ways. One more time. Say it like a bell, certain, commanding. Large sums of money come to me quickly, easily, and endlessly, under grace, in perfect ways. Feel the difference? The air around you has changed. Your body vibrates. Your subconscious is listening. You are no longer wishing, you are declaring. You are no longer thinking, you are creating. So never forget this. Silent thoughts may fade, but spoken words remain. And when spoken with faith, they carve a path no circumstance can block. That is why we speak aloud. Because the vibration of the word is the vibration of creation. Here is the mystery that turns lack into plenty and opens the vaults of heaven before a single coin has appeared in your hand. Gratitude before evidence. Most people are willing to give thanks once they see the money, once they hold the check, once the door has opened. But that is not gratitude, that is reaction. That is not faith, that is sight. And the law of prosperity does not wait upon sight. It responds to faith. Faith gives thanks before the harvest is seen, and because it gives thanks, the harvest must appear. The soul that says, "I thank you now," before I see it, is the soul that demonstrates. For thanksgiving is proof that you already believe it is done. Thanksgiving is the vibration that tells the subconscious, this is not a hope, this is not a wish, this is not a maybe, this is already mine. Let me tell you why this matters so much at the edge of sleep. When you drift into slumber with gratitude on your tongue, you hand your subconscious the signal of completion. You tell it, this has already been received. And the subconscious, faithful servant that it is, works all night long to make that statement true. But if you fall asleep rehearsing the absence, saying, I hope tomorrow is better, I wish I had more, I don't know how it will come, you give the subconscious a message of delay, of doubt, of distance. And it will dutifully play out the delay in your life. The law cannot give you what you thanklessly reject, but it must deliver what you boldly thank God for in advance. I remember a student who longed for money but could not seem to draw it in. She affirmed often, but still worried. She prayed daily, but still doubted. Finally, I told her, you are asking as though it were far away. Begin to thank God as though it were already here. She obeyed. That night, she said before bed, I give thanks for the large sums of money now in my hands. I give thanks for the perfect supply that surrounds me. She said it with feeling, though her pockets were empty. The next day, a letter arrived with unexpected funds. And after that, more gifts, more opportunities. She laughed and said, it was as if the heavens were waiting for my thanks before they opened. And I said, they were. For thanksgiving is the master key that unlocks the vault of unseen supply. So tonight, I urge you, do not wait to see the evidence before you give thanks. Give thanks now, and the evidence must come. Say it with me. I give thanks for my supply, now made visible. Again, slowly, deliberately. I give thanks for my supply now made visible. And once more, with the weight of certainty. I give thanks for my supply now made visible. Feel the difference it makes. When you thank God before the proof, you shift from longing to having, from lack to possession. You become the rich one, not the poor beggar. You walk in the vibration of already, and the law of life rushes to make it so. So as you drift into rest, let gratitude be your pillow. Let thanksgiving be the song that carries you into sleep. Smile as if the money were already in your account. Laugh softly as if the debt were already cleared. Feel joy as if the door were already opened. Because in truth, it island and your thanks is the seal that makes it visible. Give thanks before evidence, and you will never lack evidence to give thanks for again. This next part may shake you awake, because it will strip away one of the greatest mistakes people make in prayer. They beg. They plead. They cry as though God were deaf, as though the law of supply must be coaxed or bribed into moving. But hear me now, the law does not respond to begging, it responds to authority. You are not a beggar in this universe. You are a child of the Most High, heir to infinite supply. The law does not answer the trembling of fear, it answers the calm decree of faith. It does not bend for doubt, it moves for certainty. And when you speak as one who knows, as one who commands, as one who has the right to be heard, then all of creation listens. Think of it this way. A king does not beg his servants. He does not say, please, if you don't mind, perhaps one day could you bring me bread? He speaks the word, and it is done. Why? Because his position carries authority. And you, yes, you carry that same authority when you speak from your divine identity. You do not ask as a pauper, you declare as an heir. You do not cry as a victim. You decree as a victor. This is why the words you speak must not drip with desperation. They must roll with power, with finality, with rhythm. The law does not respond to noise, it responds to truth spoken with certainty. I remember a student who longed for a new opportunity. She had prayed and prayed, always pleading, "God, please open the door, please give me a chance," and the door remained closed. Finally, I told her, "Stop begging, speak with authority. Say, 'Behold, I have set before me the open door of destiny, and no man shall shut it, for it is nailed back.'" She obeyed. She spoke it not timidly, but boldly, as though she already saw the door wide open. Within days, the opportunity appeared. The phone call came. The very position she had dreamed of was handed to her, and she said to me, it was as if the universe was waiting for me to stop asking and start commanding. And I said, it was. For the law responds to authority, and she had finally spoken as one who knew. So I ask you, how are you speaking your prayer? Do you sound like one uncertain, one hoping, one wishing? Or do you sound like one who knows that their word carries weight? Tonight let us shift the tone. Tonight let us speak not as beggars but as commanders, not as the poor but as the rich, not as the lost but as the found. Say this with me now slowly, firmly, with rhythm. I do not beg. I decree. My word is law, and the law responds to me. Again, I do not beg. I decree. My word is law, and the law responds to me. Once more, let it sink into the deepest part of you. I do not beg. I decree. My word is law, and the law responds to me. Feel the shift? That is authority rising in you. That is your true position being reclaimed. You are no longer outside knocking, you are inside commanding. You are no longer hoping to be chosen. You are the one choosing. And the law, impartial and faithful, must obey the voice of faith spoken with authority. So never again fall asleep with a whimper. Fall asleep with a decree. Fall asleep not asking for supply, but commanding it into form. For the law is not moved by desperation, it is moved by dominion. And tonight, you speak as one who reigns. Now, we arrive at the heart of this entire message, the one prayer, simple yet unstoppable, that turns the night into your workshop of wealth. All else has been preparation. All else has been foundation. This is the keystone, the living word that carries within it every law of supply, every principle of prosperity, every rhythm of faith. And it is not long, it is not complicated, it is not wrapped in difficult words, it is clear, it is direct, it is potent, and it is this. I give thanks that large sums of money come to me while I sleep, under grace, in perfect ways. Say it slowly, let each syllable ring like a bell. I give thanks, gratitude, the key that opens every vault. That large sums of money, not pennies, not scraps, not leftovers, but large sums, abundance, overflow, come to me. They do not run from you, they do not hide from you, they come to you directly, freely, faithfully, while I sleep. You are not straining, you are not laboring, you are not calculating, your wealth is arriving even as you rest. Under grace, no crooked channels, no heavy burdens, no bitter aftertaste, only good, pure, and perfect. In perfect ways, at the right hour, through the right people, by the right doors, without delay, without harm, without confusion. This is the prayer. This is the decree. This is the sentence that seals the night with wealth and fills your morning with demonstration. I remember one of my students who could not believe it could be so simple. She had prayed long, begging prayers all her life, and saw little fruit. I told her, stop begging. Say this one prayer tonight and mean it. She obeyed. She whispered before bed, I give thanks that large sums of money come to me while I sleep, under grace, in perfect ways. She said it once, twice, then let it carry her into slumber. The next morning, she awoke to a letter with funds she did not expect. Not enormous, but undeniable. She laughed and said, it came while I was sleeping, and I told her, yes, it always does. For the prayer works not because of effort, but because of law. Do you see? You have been taught that wealth requires constant struggle, endless calculation, painful effort. But Spirit says otherwise. Spirit says, speak the word, give thanks, rest, and let the law perform the rest. That is why this prayer is so powerful. It gathers the essence of faith, thanksgiving, grace, and rest into one rhythm. And the subconscious, receiving it at the edge of sleep, cannot help but obey. So now, say it with me. Whisper it into the night. Whisper it into your very bones. I give thanks that large sums of money come to me while I sleep, under grace, in perfect ways. Again, let it flow like breath. I give thanks that large sums of money come to me while I sleep, under grace, in perfect ways. One more time, this time, with the certainty of one who already has. I give thanks that large sums of money come to me while I sleep, under grace, in perfect ways. Let it be the lullaby of your subconscious. Let it be the drumbeat of your night. Let it be the seed you drop into the fertile soil of your spirit, knowing that by morning, the harvest will already have begun. This is the prayer. This is the decree. This is the word that will not return void. Here is the safeguard, the shield, the holy covering wrapped around this prayer. The words, under grace, in perfect ways. Without them, you may still call wealth, but it may come through crooked channels, through toil, through burden, through doors that look golden on the outside but carry sorrow within. With them, you are protected. With them, you are guided. With them, you are certain that only what belongs to you by divine right can reach you, and that what is not yours can never enter. Grace is the hand of infinite spirit, arranging every detail, blocking every wrong path, redirecting every false opportunity, and ensuring that what you receive blesses you and blesses all connected with you. I have seen what happens when people leave grace out of their affirmations. One man I knew declared constantly for money. And money came, yes, but it came through a scheme, through dishonest channels, through means that tied him in knots of trouble. He got what he asked for, but he forgot to ask for it under grace. And the result was unrest, struggle, and eventual loss. The law had obeyed his words, but without grace, the supply brought more pain than joy. But another student, who learned to always seal her affirmations with under grace, in perfect ways, saw the opposite. She needed money desperately, and a friend offered to loan it under harsh conditions. She almost accepted, but she remembered. If it is mine, it will come under grace, in perfect ways. She refused the crooked channel, trusting the law. Within a week, the very same amount came as a gift, no strings, no chains, only blessing. Grace had protected her from entanglement, and perfect ways had delivered her supply. Do you see why this is so important? Grace keeps you safe from your own short-sightedness. It blocks what would harm you. It prevents you from tying yourself to burdens that would drag you down. And perfect ways means that the timing, the method, the channel will all align in harmony with your soul's highest good. You may think you want the money to come from one place, but Spirit knows better. You may demand one path, but Spirit has another. And grace ensures that the substitution is always for the better, never for the worse. So when you say this prayer, never forget to include the safeguard. Say it slowly, let it wrap around your heart. I give thanks that large sums of money come to me while I sleep, under grace, in perfect ways. Again, under grace, in perfect ways. Let it ring through you like a soft hymn. Under grace, in perfect ways. Say it as though you are handing over every detail to infinite intelligence. Under grace, in perfect ways. This is your guarantee that you will never gain through loss, never receive through harm, never prosper through pain. This is your assurance that every blessing will enrich, uplift, expand, and bring joy. Grace is the law's mercy. Grace is the safeguard on your supply. Grace ensures that even if your desire is misguided, it will be corrected, purified, and delivered in its true form. So tonight, as you close your eyes and speak the prayer, seal it with grace, wrap it in perfection, and rest in the knowing that what comes to you will be right, will be full, will be lasting. For wealth without grace can harm, but wealth with grace will bless forever. Now let me give you the golden truth that makes the prayer come alive, the very force that moves it from words on your lips to wealth in your hands. Gratitude is the key that turns the lock. You can speak the prayer, yes, you can repeat it faithfully, you can whisper it as you drift into sleep. But if you do so with a hollow heart, if you do so with nothing but empty sound, the door may remain shut. For gratitude is the feeling that proves you believe. Gratitude is the vibration that tells your subconscious, this is not a wish, this is not a hope. This is a fact, already complete. And when the subconscious receives that vibration, it begins to work without delay, shaping tomorrow to match your thanksgiving. Most people wait until money appears before they give thanks. They say, I'll be grateful when the check comes. I'll be grateful when the debt is cleared. I'll be grateful when my life improves. But that is not gratitude, that is mere reaction. That is sight, not faith. True gratitude thanks before the evidence, and because it thanks, the evidence must appear. For the law of life always responds to belief, and thanksgiving is the sound of belief. It is the fragrance of faith. It is the signal that tells heaven and earth alike, this is already mine. I once had a student who could not seem to demonstrate money. She prayed nightly, she repeated affirmations, she spoke the word, yet nothing shifted. Finally, I asked her, "Do you give thanks as though you already have it?" She admitted that she did not, for she thought thanksgiving without proof was foolish. I told her, "The foolishness of faith is the wisdom of God. Begin to thank before you see, and you will see because you thanked." She obeyed. That night, instead of saying, "I hope," she said, "I give thanks for the large sums of money already mine, already on their way." She smiled as she spoke it. She felt joy rise within her, though nothing had changed on the outside. And the very next day, she received unexpected money in the mail. She laughed and said, "It worked the moment I gave thanks." And I told her, "No, it always works. Gratitude was simply the key that unlocked the door." So tonight, let gratitude be the oil on the gears of your prayer. Don't just say the words, say them with thanksgiving. Don't just repeat them with joy. Don't just whisper them with a smile, with the deep feeling that it is already done. For gratitude is not only polite, it is powerful. Gratitude multiplies. Gratitude attracts. Gratitude seals the word in gold and sends it straight into manifestation. Say this with me now. I give thanks for my supply now made visible. Again, with more feeling. I give thanks for my supply now made visible. And once more, let it sink into the roots of your being. I give thanks for my supply now made visible. Now pair it with the master prayer. I give thanks that large sums of money come to me while I sleep, under grace, in perfect ways. Say it as though the money were already in your hands. Feel it, smile with it, rest in it. For when you thank God in advance, you create the advance itself. So tonight, let gratitude turn the key. Let thanksgiving open the vault. Let joy be the sound that carries your prayer into the subconscious, where it will echo through the night and rise as substance in your morning. For gratitude does not wait for proof, it creates it. And the soul that thanks before it sees will always have something to thank for after. Now we come to the practice that secures everything you have learned. The act that drives the prayer from the surface of your mind into the depths of your being, where it cannot be shaken, cannot be erased, cannot be contradicted by fear or doubt. And that practice is repetition, gentle, steady, rhythmic repetition, until the word you speak ceases to feel like a sentence you are trying on and becomes the very truth you inhabit. For one utterance of truth may light the flame, but it is repetition that keeps the lamp burning through the night. The subconscious does not change by logic, it changes by impression, and impressions are made by repeated strokes. Just as water carves stone by falling drop after drop, so the word carves new channels in your soul when spoken again and again with faith. This is why I tell my students, do not stop with one prayer. Do not think one murmur is enough to undo years of fear and doubt that have been rehearsed. The old records in your subconscious have been played for years. They must be overwritten. And how are they overwritten? By speaking the new word until it sings louder, until it plays clearer, until it drowns out the lies and replaces them with melody of truth. Every repetition is a nail driven into the structure of your new reality. Every time you whisper the prayer before sleep, you are laying another stone on the foundation of wealth. And one night, without warning, the building will be complete, and your world will reveal what your word has been constructing all along. I remember a man who had long rehearsed the fear of poverty. He spoke it every day, almost without thinking. I never have enough. I always fall short. When I gave him the prayer, he said it once and felt nothing. He said it twice and still doubted. But I told him, don't stop when it feels hollow. Keep saying it until it sinks. He obeyed. Night after night, he whispered, I give thanks that large sums of money come to me while I sleep, under grace, in perfect ways. At first, the words felt empty, like seeds falling on hard soil. But he persisted. And then something shifted. He told me one morning, I woke up, and for the first time I didn't just say it, I believed it. Soon after, his demonstration came. A door opened, supply arrived, and his whole atmosphere changed. The prayer had finally sunk into his subconscious, and once it did, the law could not help but obey. So I say to you now, do not measure by how you feel on the first night. Do not stop because it feels mechanical. Keep saying it until it sinks. Keep saying it until your subconscious accepts it as law. Keep saying it until you no longer wonder if it is true, you know it is true. And once you know, your outer world will know as well. Let's do it now, slowly, rhythmically, like waves on the shore. I give thanks that large sums of money come to me while I sleep, under grace, in perfect ways. Again, let it move with your breath. I give thanks that large sums of money come to me while I sleep, under grace, in perfect ways. One more time, with the weight of certainty. I give thanks that large sums of money come to me while I sleep, under grace, in perfect ways. Let it echo in your chest. Let it settle in your bones. Let it carry you into sleep like a lullaby from heaven itself. For once it sinks, once it becomes the undercurrent of your subconscious, nothing can uproot it, and wealth must answer. Say it until it sinks. Whisper it until it roots. Repeat it until it becomes you. And when it does, you will wake, not to the same old life, but to the demonstration of the prayer you dared to believe. Now that you have spoken the prayer, now that you have let it roll upon your tongue and echo in your soul, the question remains, how do you hold it through the night? How do you keep the channel clear when the shadows of fear try to creep back into the room, whispering their lies into the silence? And the answer is simple but mighty: you sleep in faith. Not the restless sleep of one hoping against hope, not the shallow sleep of one tossed between doubt and belief, but the royal sleep of one who knows their word has already been heard and already fulfilled. I call it the sleep of kings. For the one who lies down in faith does not toss, does not turn, does not pace the floor in worry. They rest like royalty, certain that their decree has gone forth and their servants, unseen though they may be, are already bringing it into manifestation. Faith is substance. Faith is not thin. Faith is not fragile. Faith is a weight, a certainty, a presence. To sleep in faith is to feel that presence so strongly that the body relaxes into it, the heart beats in rhythm with it, and the mind surrenders without resistance. It is to lie down knowing that as surely as night turns into morning, your prayer is already unfolding, your supply is already moving, your wealth is already being arranged. The sleep of kings is not sleep as escape, it is sleep as dominion. For the king does not wonder if his command will be carried out, he knows it will. And so he rests. And so must you. I recall a woman in the days when housing was scarce. She longed for a new apartment, but there were none to be found. She had spoken the word, God is my unfailing supply, my perfect home is prepared. But doubt threatened her in the night. She wanted to worry, to repeat the fear. What if I never find a place? Instead, I told her, act as though it is already yours. Sleep as though the keys were already in your hand. She obeyed. She bought new blankets, as though the apartment had already been given. She prepared in faith, not in fear, and within days the perfect apartment opened to her, exactly as she had envisioned. Why? Because she slept like a queen, not a beggar. She rested in faith, not in anxiety. She carried herself as one who already had. So tonight, you must do the same. Do not let fear steal your pillow. Do not let doubt keep watch at your door. Lie down like royalty, your word already spoken, your supply already dispatched, your wealth already yours. Close your eyes with this thought. It is done. I am rich now. My prayer is fulfilled. I rest in faith. Say this with me, as you let your body sink deeper into stillness. I rest in faith. I sleep in assurance. My word is fulfilled as I dream. Again, slowly. I rest in faith. I sleep in assurance. My word is fulfilled as I dream. And once more, like a crown upon your head, I rest in faith. I sleep in assurance. My word is fulfilled as I dream. Thank you. This is the sleep of kings. This is the rest of queens. This is the posture of those who reign in spirit. And when you sleep this way, your subconscious does not replay fear, it multiplies faith. It carries the vibration of certainty through the night, and it manifests accordingly in the morning. So tonight, do not fall asleep as one begging for change. Fall asleep as one who reigns. Fall asleep in faith, and you will wake in demonstration. There is something you must see clearly now, for if you miss it, you will wonder why your prayer seems slow, why your word seems weak, why your demonstration feels delayed. And it is this. Fear is simply faith turned upside down. Fear is not nothing. Fear is not harmless. Fear is not the absence of belief. Fear is belief misdirected, power twisted, imagination used against you instead of for you. Fear is the counterfeit of fortune. It looks like faith, it feels like faith, it works like faith, but it produces the very thing you do not want. When you lie down at night rehearsing the worst, you are planting seeds in the same fertile soil of the subconscious, and because the soil makes no judgment, those seeds must sprout. That is why fear is so dangerous. It is creative. It is not idle. It is not passive. It is not silent. It creates lack. It attracts trouble. It rehearses ruin, and then it multiplies them with precision. Think of the one who builds a rainy day fund, not from wisdom but from dread. He thinks he is preparing against misfortune, but in truth, he is inviting the misfortune he fears, because he is rehearsing it night after night, planning for it, expecting it. Or think of the woman who says every evening, "I hope I don't lose my job. I hope tomorrow isn't worse." She may think she is only worrying, but in truth, she is affirming. She is giving her subconscious a command: bring me the loss I fear, multiply the trouble I expect. And the subconscious, faithful servant though it is, obeys without question. This is why Jesus asked, "Why are ye fearful, O ye of little faith?" For fear is faith in the wrong direction, and it always brings its own harvest. But here is the good news: just as quickly as fear sows ruin, faith sows riches. Just as fear rehearses loss, faith rehearses gain. Just as fear multiplies lack, faith multiplies supply. You do not need to fight fear. You need only to replace it. The soil of the subconscious will grow whatever is planted, and the law of substitution allows you to uproot the weed by planting a stronger seed. When fear whispers, you do not argue with it. You do not analyze it. You do not obey it. You speak a louder word. You speak the prayer of faith. You declare the truth until the vibration of fear is drowned out and erased. I recall a student who feared she would end up in poverty. She said it constantly, especially at night. "I'm afraid I will lose everything." And as she feared, her money drained. But then she was taught to speak instead, "I rest in faith. I am divinely provided for. I rise to riches." She repeated it every night, even when fear tried to creep back. Slowly, the fear weakened. Slowly, the faith took hold. And soon, her supply turned. Unexpected income arrived. Help came. Her fear was not merely managed, it was replaced. And because it was replaced, it lost its power. So tonight, do not let fear be your final fortune. Do not let it masquerade as wisdom. Do not let it trick you into rehearsing lack. Replace it with faith. Declare boldly, "I refuse fear. I rest in faith. I am provided for now." Again, stronger this time. "I refuse fear. I rest in faith. I am provided for now." And once more, let it sink to the roots. "I refuse fear. I rest in faith. I am provided for now." For fear is a false fortune, and it always delivers what you dread. But faith is the true fortune, and it always delivers what you decree. Tonight, choose which one will speak for you. Tonight, choose which one will write your tomorrow. Tonight, let faith be your final word. Now, we reach the tender secret that so few understand, and yet it is the one thing that keeps the stream of supply flowing freely. Peace. For wealth does not rush into a troubled heart. Prosperity does not pour itself into an anxious mind. Supply is like a golden river, wide and endless, but fear and resistance throw stones into the current, creating blockages, breaking the flow. It is peace, deep, steady, unwavering peace that keeps the channel open, wide, clear, ready. Peace is not weakness. Peace is not passivity. Peace is power in harmony. It is the sign that you have released the outcome to divine law, and you are no longer choking the process with your doubts. Do you see how easily we disturb the current? A man may speak the prayer, he may declare the affirmation, but then he begins to pace the floor, checking the mail, scanning the horizon, asking again and again, when will it come? Where will it come from? What if it doesn't? And all of that worry is resistance. It is like damming the river with his own hands. But the one who speaks and then rests, the one who declares and then sits in peace, opens the current wide. The law can now move, the supply can now flow. For non-resistance is the proof of faith, and faith always keeps the channel clear. I recall a man who needed a very large sum, $50,000, and he was pressed by time. Every door appeared shut, every effort seemed to fail. He nearly gave way to panic. But instead of yielding to fear, he chose peace. He sat still. He repeated calmly, God is my supply. My demonstration comes under grace, in perfect ways. He refused to let worry dictate his night. He refused to argue with appearances. And do you know what happened? At the very last moment, when all hope seemed gone, the money arrived. Not through struggle, not through strain, but through a channel he could never have planned. His peace had kept the channel open, and the supply rushed through. So I say to you now, after you speak the prayer, after you give thanks, let peace be your final act. Do not disturb the soil with frantic digging. Do not tear up the seed with restless hands. Rest. Be still. Let peace wrap you like a blanket. Say aloud, I am calm, I am certain, I am supplied. And let that vibration carry you into sleep. Say it with me now. Peace is my proof. Peace is my power. Peace keeps the channel open. Again, peace is my proof. Peace is my power. Peace keeps the channel open. And once more, as a final seal, peace keeps the channel open, and my wealth flows freely now. Let your breath fall into rhythm with those words. Let your body feel lighter. Let your spirit expand. For peace is not the absence of power, it is the evidence that the power is working without interference. Peace is the law's invitation. Peace is your declaration of trust. And when you sleep in peace, the channel is open and supply flows unhindered. So tonight, do not fight appearances. Do not argue with delay. Do not force results. Rest in peace, sleep in peace. For peace keeps the channel open, and your prayer will not fail. Now we come to the morning. The hour when the invisible begins to take shape in the visible. The moment when the seed you sowed in the night begins to push against the surface of your life. And here, beloved, is where many stumble. They pray with faith at night, but they rise with doubt in the morning. They plant the seed in the soil of the subconscious, then at dawn they dig it up to see if it has grown. They fall asleep speaking wealth, but they wake rehearsing lack. And so they undo with their words of morning what they established with their words of night. Do not make that mistake. For the law is swift to obey, but it is also swift to mirror the vibration you carry into your waking hours. If you wake expecting good, you will see good. If you wake expecting lack, lack will find you. So when you open your eyes at dawn, open them as one who knows that the prayer has already worked, that the law has already moved, that the supply has already begun to flow. Rise with expectancy, not hesitation. Rise as one who has already received. Just as surely as the farmer rises expecting his fields to bloom after rain, so must you rise expecting money, opportunity, favor, and supply to show themselves. This expectancy is not arrogance, it is alignment. It is faith carried from night into morning. I recall a student who spoke the prayer faithfully, but complained the moment she awoke. She said, every day feels the same, nothing ever changes. And of course, her days reflected her expectation unchanged, uneventful, stagnant. I told her, stop rising in complaint, start rising in expectancy. Say the moment you wake, this is the day my supply appears. She obeyed. Each morning she declared it, even when she felt nothing. And soon her mornings changed. A gift appeared on her doorstep. A friend called with unexpected money. Small things became larger things, and her life shifted. Why? Because she rose in expectancy instead of lack. So tomorrow morning, when your eyes open, let your first thought be faith. Let your first word be truth. Let your first vibration be expectancy. Do not reach for the worry. Do not rehearse the same old problem. Say instead, this is the day my supply appears. Say it again, firmly, with conviction. This is the day my supply appears. And once more, sealing it as the tone of your day. This is the day my supply appears. Let that phrase ring through your mind as you rise. Let it guide your steps as you move through the morning. Let it color every interaction, every thought, every glance. For expectancy is the magnet that pulls your demonstration into form. When you rise expecting, you are no longer waiting, you are receiving. You are no longer doubting, you are aligning. And when you live in that alignment, wealth cannot help but find you. So rise tomorrow as one already answered. Rise tomorrow as one already rich. Rise tomorrow as one expecting, not questioning. For the law always mirrors what you hold, and the morning belongs to the one who rises expecting. Now we arrive at the final movement of this great symphony of prayer, the note that swells and multiplies everything you have spoken, dreamed, and believed, thanksgiving. For gratitude does not only unlock supply, it magnifies it. It takes the small and makes it large, the little and makes it overflow, the first token and turns it into an avalanche. Gratitude is multiplication in motion. When you wake and see even the smallest sign of your prayer's fulfillment, an unexpected coin on the ground, a kind word, a small gift, a tiny shift in your circumstances, do not dismiss it. Do not say, "Oh, that is nothing." Say instead, "This is my demonstration beginning, and I give thanks for it now." For what you thank multiplies, and what you scorn withers. So many rise in the morning and overlook the blessing in their hands. They say, "This is too small. This is not enough." And so it shrinks. But the one who blesses the little, who praises the beginning, who gives thanks for the first fruits, will see those fruits grow into harvest. This is why Jesus gave thanks before the loaves multiplied. He did not wait to see the thousands fed. He thanked while holding the little. And because he thanked, the little became plenty. Gratitude magnified supply. And the same law works for you. I recall a student who once received $1 as a gift. She laughed and said, "How can this help me? It is so little." I corrected her. "Never despise the day of small beginnings. Thank God for that dollar, and more will come." She obeyed. She gave thanks for it as though it were a fortune. And within days, more money began to appear. Friends offered her help. A forgotten debt was repaid. Opportunities opened. That $1 was the seed, and her thanksgiving watered it until it blossomed into plenty. So tomorrow morning when you rise, do not look for evidence with a cold eye. Look with the eye of gratitude. If you see even a whisper of supply, bless it. If you feel even a shift of peace, thank it. If you notice even a small door cracking open, rejoice in it. For gratitude is not blind, it is creative. Gratitude takes what you thank for and stretches it, expands it, multiplies it, until it fills your hands, your home, your life. Say this with me now. I give thanks, and my supply multiplies. Again, slowly. I give thanks, and my supply multiplies. Once more, with joy. I give thanks, and my supply multiplies. And let us seal it with the master prayer, alive now with thanksgiving. I give thanks that large sums of money come to me while I sleep, under grace, in perfect ways. Say it as though you were already counting the bills, already depositing the check, already walking in the overflow. Smile as you say it. Feel the richness in your bones. Let thanksgiving rise like incense from your heart. For the one who thanks in advance always lives in abundance. So remember this. Prayer begins the work, faith sustains it, peace protects it, but gratitude multiplies it. Gratitude is the magnet for with thanksgiving, every door opens wider, every channel flows stronger, every blessing grows richer. Gratitude is the sunlight to the seed, the water to the sprout, the air to the flame. Without it, the seed may lie dormant, the sprout may wither, the flame may sputter out. But with gratitude, growth is inevitable, expansion unstoppable, harvest assured. And it does not matter how small the sign may appear, thanksgiving treats the small as if it were the whole, and the whole must then appear to match it. Do you see the mystery? Gratitude is not about what you have in your hand, it is about what you know in your heart. When you thank God for the little, you are not lying, you are aligning. You are saying, "This token is enough to prove the law works, and I know the rest is already on the way." And the subconscious, hearing your thanks, multiplies the vibration. It says, "This is important, this is valuable, this is complete," and so it creates more to match. The universe rushes to deliver more of what you celebrate. Gratitude is the magnet that multiplies its own kind. Let me tell you a story. A woman once began to affirm her supply, but nothing seemed to happen. Then one day, she found a single coin on the street. At first, she wanted to dismiss it, to say, "What good is this? I need hundreds, not pennies." But then she remembered, give thanks for the seed, and the harvest will follow. She picked it up, held it in her hand, and declared, "Thank you, Infinite Spirit, for this sign of my endless supply. I bless this coin, and I know it multiplies into many." Within weeks, unexpected money began to flow to her, small gifts at first, then larger sums, until her situation was entirely reversed. The coin was not the supply, it was the sign, and her gratitude turned the sign into a stream. So I ask you now, will you despise the little, or will you bless it? Will you complain at the seed, or will you rejoice at the promise? The law waits on your vibration. If you scorn, the stream dries up. If you bless, the stream becomes a river. The choice is yours. Say this with me now. I give thanks for every sign of my supply. Again, with more feeling. I give thanks for every sign of my supply. And once more, as though your life depended on it. I give thanks for every sign of my supply. Now, seal it with joy. I give thanks that large sums of money come to me while I sleep, under grace, in perfect ways. Feel the vibration of those words. Do not just say them, feel them. Smile as if the mailman were at your door with the check. Laugh as if your account were already full. Rest as if the debt were already cleared. Because when you give thanks as though it were already done, it is already done. So walk in this truth. Gratitude is not the afterthought, it is the amplifier. It is not the echo, it is the command. It is not the polite response, it is the power that multiplies. And the one who wakes in gratitude will never wake to lack. And now, beloved, we come to the close of this message, but not the close of your demonstration. For what has been spoken tonight will not fade, it will not dissolve, it will not return empty. The law has heard it, the subconscious has received it, and your supply has already been set in motion. This is the point where so many stop too soon, where they begin to wonder if anything is happening, where they allow doubt to creep back into the sacred soil. But I say to you, hold steady, do not rush, do not interfere, do not tear up the seed with restless hands. Rest in the knowing that the prayer has already worked, that the law has already moved, that your wealth is already prepared. Let us remember together the great journey of this night. You have learned that the subconscious never sleeps, that every word you speak before slumber is a seed planted in the fertile ground of tomorrow. You have seen how fear, if given the last word, becomes the architect of lack, but how faith, if spoken as the final decree, builds riches even as you dream. You have heard the truth that your word is your wand, that sound carries vibration into the soul, that gratitude unlocks the vault, that authority commands the law. And you have been given the master prayer, clear and simple, wrapped in grace, crowned in thanksgiving. I give thanks that large sums of money come to me while I sleep, under grace, in perfect ways. This prayer cannot fail, for it contains the essence of all demonstration, gratitude which proves belief, wealth, clearly spoken, rest which allows the law to work unhindered, grace which guards against error, perfection which ensures that only the right channels will open. It is a prayer for kings and queens, a decree for heirs of infinite supply. And if you speak it with faith, with rhythm, with peace, it will echo through the night until it becomes substance in your morning. So tonight, as you lay your head upon the pillow, do not let fear have the final word. Do not let doubt poison the seed. Speak this prayer, once, twice, as many times as your spirit desires, until you feel peace settle upon you like a mantle. And then rest not as one who is waiting, but as one who is receiving. Rest as one who is already rich. Rest as one whose demonstration is already complete. Rest in the sleep of kings, and rise to the evidence of your dominion. Say it now with me, as the final seal upon this message. I sleep now in divine wealth. I rise rich. I walk in abundance. I live as the word fulfilled. Again, I sleep now in divine wealth. I rise rich. I walk in abundance. I live as the word fulfilled. And once more, let it settle into every corner of your being. I sleep now in divine wealth. I rise rich. I walk in abundance. I live as the word fulfilled. Yes, it is done. Yes, it is certain. Yes, it is yours. And before I release you into rest, let me open the door to your next revelation. For you have spoken the prayer for money, and you will see the supply. But did you know there is also a single sentence that restores health and strength as you sleep? The same law that multiplies wealth can also renew the body, dissolve pain, and fill you with energy by morning. If you dare to believe, then click now to hear my next message. Say this one sentence before sleep. Wake up with healing and strength. For the law is one, and it works the same for riches, for health, for love, for every desire. And tonight you have proved it. So rest, beloved. Rest rich, rest safe, rest fulfilled.